Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to take a look at the One Mix Yoga 7. This is a small computer, it's a small laptop, basically a netbook, and it's comparable with the GPD Pocket. If you guys don't know what that is, here it is. The GPD Pocket, this is a small netbook, a small laptop style computer slash UMPC that was released last year. And yeah, it's basically this looks like a mini MacBook almost, a very sturdy aluminum build, and it's got a 7-inch display right here. So you can see that here. It's the keyboard looks very cramped, and this device was released last year. I did a video on this device before, and I told people how it was basically the modern style reinvention of the netbook or UMPC, and yeah, it's basically that. It's probably one of the most powerful UMPCs you can buy. I think the GPD Win 2 is still going to be more powerful than this, but as far as the traditional laptop style small devices go, I think this might be one of the most powerful netbook style devices you can get these days. So yeah, so it looks like they're making a new one, a new GPD Pocket 2. I believe it's on Indiegogo or something right now. So you can go support that. It's going to be slimmer than this one, but much more powerful because it's a Core M3 processor. This one has an Intel Atom. So of course the Intel Atom's not going to be very powerful. Yeah, go support it. GPD Pocket 2, I might get that sometime, but it's pretty expensive. All right. So now let's look at the One Mix Yoga. This actually came out this year, I think a few months ago in June. So let's take a look. And despite that, I believe it's not really a competitor to the GPD Pocket at all. The specs indicate that it's more of a competitor to the original GPD Pocket. So this thing is released this year, but it's a competitor to last year's product. But to be fair, this thing is also cheaper too. I got this for about $400, whereas the GPD Pocket 2 is around like $700, $800. So to be fair, this thing's also cheaper as well. So you pay for what you get. And all right, this is packaging is pretty similar to the GPD Pocket packaging. If I didn't know better, I thought they were pretty much the same company. Okay, judging from the design and the packaging, I think that they're both from China, you know, so I would think that they were, if I didn't know any better, like if GPD made a device like this and called it the GPD Pocket Yoga or something, I would believe it. Pretty much the same kind of packaging, same kind of materials and design. All right, this is the instruction book, blah, 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 Chinese instruction book. And okay, it has some English in it, I guess. Okay, I'm not going to go too in-depth with this notebook because it's pretty much got the same specs as GPD Pocket. There is one key difference, and let's go. Okay, so this is let's look at the charger actually. This charger should be different than the GPD Pocket. The GPD Pocket charges with the USB-C cable. This one charges with micro USB. I know, that's a little bit of a letdown. I prefer to charge with USB-C, but for some reason this newer product charges with an older adapter. So go figure. I don't know why they didn't make this charge with USB-C. Anyways, it's got a micro USB charger. Although I guess one benefit is that it's easier to come by these kind of chargers. I mean, still to this day, even though it's 2018, a lot of shops still don't sell USB-C. They don't carry USB-C. They still carry only micro USB. So I guess that's a possible benefit. But yeah, I'd still much rather have USB-C. All right. Now let's look at the netbook itself. Unwrap it. Got some nice packaging, I guess. All right. So yeah. If you didn't know any better, I thought this would be a GPD device. It looks so similar. All right. The One Mix Yoga, One Netbook, of course, made in China. That's where all the UMPCs are made these days. I guess Japan doesn't really care about UMPCs anymore. They're the ones that kind of started it, but they don't care about it anymore. So China's got to pick up the slack. Yeah, it looks very similar. Look at this, guys. Do you know which one's the GPD Pocket? Well, it's the one without the hinges, obviously, but other than that, I mean, it's really just the hinges that can set it apart. Other than that, it's so similar. Yeah, it's pretty much the same dimensions, same thickness, same lack of ports on this side, on the left side. Okay, right side, the ports are where it starts to differ. I guess the Yoga has this ventilation here as well. Yeah, so the right side is where it starts to differ. So here's what I noticed. The Yoga, the back has the ventilation right here at the back. GPT Pocket has it on the right side. As far as ports go, the Yoga is actually better here. Because look, okay, they both have headphone jacks. Micro SD card slot, that's a advantage, a plus for the Yoga. GPT Pocket doesn't have that. The GPT Pocket 2 will have that, however. They both have USB-C, however, this one charges with USB-C, this one does not. They both have micro HDMI out, and both have USB-A ports, one of them, and this one also has a micro USB for charging. I'm not sure if you can use this for data transfer, but looks like this is for DC only, so pretty much almost the same ports. The advantage goes to the GPT Pocket for charging, and this one for the micro SD card slot. So I guess that could be pretty useful. But otherwise, almost the exact same dimensions and design. I mean, look at that. Almost the exact same here. Yeah, the vents and stuff are kind of different. The only thing you can tell apart from this is really the hinges from this one, but otherwise the same. Now, I've seen some videos comparing the One Mix Yoga to the GPT Pocket 2, and that's not a fair comparison, I think, because first of all, GPT Pocket 2 is a much more powerful device than this one, and secondly, it's much more expensive, so it doesn't really compete with this. This device, the One Mix Yoga 7, it competes with the first GPT Pocket. Now, this thing, the only spec difference would be this. The GPT Pocket has a slightly faster processor. Actually, not slightly faster. It's about 25% faster. So it's faster. The One Mix Yoga has, I think it's an Atom X5 or whatever, and this one is an X7. So they're both quad core. Both have the same amount of like storage space and RAM and everything, but like 8 gigs of RAM, but and 128 gigs of SSD. But this one has a lower clocked core processor. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why OneMix went with that, since this is a newer device. You would think that would have at least the same processor as the GPT Pocket, but it doesn't. It has a lower clock processor, so it's slower than GPT Pocket. And so yeah, the GPT Pocket is, the original Pocket is faster. So not fair to compare this to the Pocket 2, since even the original Pocket is faster than the Yoga. So yeah, let's look at the keyboard. All right, so another slight difference on the keyboard. Let's take a look. Again, I find it more fair to compare the original Pocket with the One Mix Yoga due to the price point, and I think you can find both of these at similar price points, the Pocket 1 and the Yoga. All right, so this is how they compare in terms of the keyboard here. Let's look at the keyboard layout. This one has an optical sensor in the middle. This one has a traditional ThinkPad, Lenovo ThinkPad style nub. Really depends what you like better. I kind of like the ThinkPad style nub better because I'm used to using ThinkPads. This one is kind of the type I saw in the Sharp Netwalker. Yeah, well, that's an obscure device. The GPT Pocket 2 also has a similar sensor to this, but it's placed on the top row here. And I'm not sure. I think it really depends what you want, you know. I guess if you're used to ThinkPads, you'll like the nub, and the optical trackpad will work, but yeah, it's really based on your preferences and taste here. What else is different here? Let's see, side-by-side comparison. Okay, one thing, I noticed the One Mix Yoga is missing a few buttons. So this button, the taskbar button, is gone from here. I'm not sure if that matters too much. I mean, how many people really use this button anyways? The FN and control here is like squashed. This has got a very, very small FN button, and the control button right beside it And this one is a full-size FM button. This one's a tiny one. So that's another thing. And oh, it's missing right Alt and Control. So you see on this side Alt and Control, that's missing from here. Now that might be a good thing depending on how big you want your spacebar to be, because this thing, it does have a bigger spacebar than this one. So if you're not using the right Alt and Control, then maybe you'll like the bigger spacebar on the One Mix Yoga. Other than that, I think it's fairly similar. What else is missing? I think it's about the same otherwise. That's all the same. Even the, oh, well, I guess the backspace and delete I switched here. It's backspace, delete, and this one is delete and backspace. That's switched here. But you know what? I like this layout better because I'm used to the backspace button being above the enter key. This one has a delete button above the enter key, which I'm not really a big fan of. I'm used to the backspace button being above the enter key. So I like the One Mix Yoga that puts it right above the enter key. That's fine. That's fine. I don't think there's any other big differences. You're just missing about 3 keys. That's about it. You're missing the context key, the right Alt, and Control. In exchange, you get a bigger spacebar, so, and a bigger FN key. So I think I actually like the One Mix Yoga. I prefer the One Mix Yoga layout because they get rid of the really tiny small buttons you might not use in favor of expanding some of the keys here. And I like that because I felt that the GPD Pocket keyboard was a bit cramped for me. So that's really it. The keyboard comparison ends there. Really, the One Mix has less keys, but the bottom key row is slightly roomier because of that. So I like that better. And of course, the major difference, the main reason I got this was because of the convertible factor. So you notice that this screen bends not 180 degrees, but almost, right? But it doesn't quite go there. This one goes the whole 180 degrees, but also it can go further than that, right? It goes 180, and then it goes further than that. All right, so now it becomes a full yoga hinge, which is made famous by Lenovo. The Lenovo Yoga Hinge, all right? And yeah, now it's just like a tablet. And you can put it into stand mode, what Lenovo calls stand mode. You know, I've done this with my X1 Yoga. So yeah, it's stand mode, good for watching movies and videos and stuff. Tent mode, that's what Lenovo calls tent mode, good for presentations and stuff. Now, this one doesn't have as good a processor, so not as good for work and stuff, but you know, I got this mainly for the unique convertible factor. I mean, you have a pocket netbook that converts like a yoga, and I think if you're going to go for my collection anyways, I'm going to mainly put this in my collection. If I'm going for a UMPC collection, then this one seems more unique to me. And the fact that it's slightly slower and stuff doesn't really bother me. It's not like I'm going to use this very much for work anyways. I actually used this for a week when I was staying in Vancouver, and it's okay, I guess. As long as my workload wasn't very heavy or anything. I just surfed the web and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I used this for a week and felt that it was definitely cramped to use and stuff, but it's not something I would use as my main computer anyways. So yeah, that's it, guys. The One Mix Yoga versus the GPD Pocket One. And yeah, it depends. Let me know which one you like better. The One Mix Yoga, it's convertible. It's got a slightly roomier keyboard layout. It's got a micro SD card slot. But the disadvantage is that it's slightly slower than the GPD Pocket One. And it's missing a few of the keys that you might or might not use. I think that's really the only differences. The display is pretty much the same as a 1610 display, which I like, 1920 by 1200. Both of them have that. Then that's about the same, and also this one charges with micro. Okay, well, that's about it. Let me know which one you guys prefer. I think they should be around the same price. The One Mix 400, this one probably about 400 as well. GPD Pocket 2, of course, is going to blow both of these away, but it's also going to be 700, 800. So it's going to be like double price. So yeah, let me let me know what you guys prefer. That's the One Mix Yoga. Looks almost the same. It's like a convertible version, which to me is a more unique thing from my collection. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.